Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back with another Halloween card for my 2020 Halloween series. So for today's card, I pulled out my much loved spiderweb background stamp. This came out last year or the year before from Simon. I don't remember, a couple years ago. So I pulled that out and I have some black cardstock here. And I just have the stamp just face up on my work surface, and I'm going to ink it up with clear embossing ink. And I am going to flip this black cardstock over and just press it down with my fingers. I had already used my anti-static powder tool on the black cardstock. So just pressing this down with my fingers, and then once I have this image stamped onto this black cardstock, I am going to use Hero Art's white satin pearl embossing powder. I was originally going to use black embossing powder because I thought that would look kind of cool, just that glossy black on the black cardstock. I still might have to do that for another card. But then I was like, ooh, I wonder what this embossing powder looks like on black. I've used this multiple times in many videos. I love it. It's just one of those embossing powders that just has such a pretty shimmer to it. And the neat thing is on black cardstock, on video it looks kind of silver. In real life, it looks silver, but not like silver embossing powder. Like silver embossing powder looks silver. But white satin pearl on black, it just has this neat kind of metallic look to it. And it was perfect for the spiderweb. I was very pleased with how this looks on the black cardstock. So I melted this completely with my heat tool. I've sped this up in editing, but I've kept the whole thing in because, again, there's something about that, like that satisfying feeling when embossing powder melts. It's just so fun. So melted all of this with my heat tool. And then off camera, I die cut this with the largest of the Simon basic rectangle wafer dies. And that largest die is A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this will completely cover my card. And the funny thing is, when I started this card, or like the idea in my head, I was going to do, my typical Halloween colors. I'm going to get some purple and some orange in there. And I ended up going completely black. Black with everything. I don't know. It evolved. So I used the CZ Design Spooky Wafer Die Set. The word I die cut 3 times from black cardstock, as is tradition. And I stacked all 3 layers together with my craft tacky adhesive. And then sometimes when I do get adhesive oozing out a little bit, especially in little like finicky areas, I just use my Tim Holtz die pick, like my craft pick, and just quickly, wipe away the adhesive and it's good to go. So I had the 3 layers for the word, and then the outline layer I die cut from VELLUM. And then I had die cut the Batty wafer die that's also from CZ Design. And I was going to use the outline and then changed my mind again and used just the bat wafer die from the set. And I die cut it from black glitter cardstock. And then I just used some of the scraps from the white outlines I had cut to adhere behind them because it cuts out the little eyes. So I wanted those to show up. So I did that. And then the sentiments are the reverse Halloween sentiment strips. So all I need to do is trim these down. And I like using my Fiskars trimmer that I've had for eons. When it comes to all these sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp, I prefer using this cutter with them because it has that wire down the cut line so I can see exactly where I'm cutting, which is just, like I've said a million times in the last few months, as I'm getting older and my eyesight isn't as good as it is, and I've got, astigmatism now in my eyes. I need all the help I can get to keep things straight, cut things straight, all that stuff. So that's why I keep my very old Fiskars cutter, because it still works and I can still get replacement blades for it. So that's always a win. So anywho, after I trim down those sentiments, as I do with the reverse ones like this that are black on white cardstock, I took my Memento TUXEDO black marker and I just run the side of the marker against the edges of these pieces, and it just covers up that exposed white bit of cardstock, and it just makes these sentiment strips look more complete, more finished. So I did that. And then to adhere the spooky word, I'm just applying my craft tacky glue directly behind the letters so that you won't see any adhesive seeping out. So I applied that, and then I'm going to press that down to my card front here. And then the sentiments and the bats I am going to pop up with some 3D foam squares just to give everything a little bit extra dimension. So popping those foam squares onto the back of these pieces, and then I'm going to adhere them into place. So the front of the card is going to say, sending you spooky Halloween vibes, which also just worked. Again, this wasn't my intention when I started making this card, but like the black and then the black bats and just everything, the way it was like coming together, I was like, and the sentiment, I was like, this is perfect. So for a little bit of embellishment, I pulled out, I have these little things from Lucy's cards, these Halloween fun sequin mix. I buy her sequin mixes every season. I have piles of them and I hoard them so bad. Like I sit and I'll like play with the bag of them because I don't use them hard. I rarely make shaker cards, but I buy these constantly. Anyway, I pulled out, they had little ghost shapes. She had little ghost shapes in there, and there's little bat shapes. So I pulled out just the littler ghost shapes, some of the bats, and then there's these little iridescent star confetti in there too, and that was just perfect. So I adhered those like just onto the card front here and there with little tiny dabs of my craft tacky glue. And then on the inside of the card, I adhered another one of the reverse sentiment strips, and I die cut one more of those bats from some black glitter cardstock and adhered that one into place. And then all I got to do is adhere the card front to the card base. And like I had said, this one is A2 size, so it completely covers the card base. So just put craft tacky glue on there so I can kind of shimmy everything into place. I'm going to pair this with a black envelope, and this card is complete. So I will have links in the description box below the video. I'll have a link to my blog post. I will link to all the supplies used, so if you're interested in any of that, you can check it out below. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping and commenting. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!